Yeah, very good morning, children. How are you doing? Yeah, now we're going to deal with the lesson that is production of food from plants and the methods of management. That way, session 4. Right? So, already we learned different types of agriculture activities like, say, this preparing the soil, the next sowing of seeds like this, and then what's the next one means why do we supply manure? Why do we supply manure? You know, the plants require different types of nutrients to the soil. To the plants. Nutrients means, see, different types of salts like nitrogen, potassium, calcium, magnesium. All these salts are otherwise called as the nutrients, and where these nutrients are present means they are present in the soil. So whenever we're growing any crop in the field, then what means these crops, they use up the salts and minerals from the soil. Correct. So when we continue another crop in the same field, then what means? Can you say that the same amount of nutrients will be present in that soil by the next year? No. So here from this we can see that as we are going on growing the crops year after year in the same field, then what means the amount of nutrients in the soil become less and less. Okay, we can explain this with a simple example. So for example, your father bought one rice bag and it has 50 kgs of rice. 50 kgs. Okay, and for all your family members, daily your mother is using 2 kgs. Using 2 kgs. So for how many days you can use that bag? Now you can use that for 25 days. That means as it is a 50 kgs rice bag and you are using a 2 kgs of rice per day, you can use that. Say for example, after 10 days, say 10 days over. So after 10 days, can you say that the same amount of rice will be present in the bag? Whether the rice becomes decrease or the same or increases? Yeah, automatically decreases. That means 20 kgs over. So there we can find only 30 kgs. Correct. So but when you come to 25th day, then can you find any rice in that bag? No. All the rice were completely used up and so it becomes empty. It becomes empty. Got it? So just like this, in the soil also, we can find some amount of salts and minerals. As we're growing crops or plants in the field, what means the amount of salts and minerals becomes less and less, and after few years the salts becomes completely disappear. That means they get emptied from the soil. They empty from the soil, and as a result what means that soil becomes infertile. It becomes infertile. Infertile means that means it becomes useless. Correct. So to overcome this problem, that means again to make the soil fertile, what the farmers do means the farmers use manures. The farmers use manures, or we can otherwise say fertilizers. So in that fertilizers or manures, we can find three main components. What are they? One is nitrogen, the next is phosphorus, and the potassium. So why only these three are present means these three are very important for the plant growth. Okay, that's why whatever the manure or a fertilizer we take, in them we can find these three nutrients. What are they? Yeah, first one nitrogen, and second one phosphorus, and potassium. Got it? Now these manures can be divided into two types. Manures are two types. What are they? First one, natural fertilizer or a manure, or which can be otherwise called as a biofertilizers. Natural means what? Yeah, we can deal that in next topic. Okay, and what's the second one? Second one, artificial or a chemical fertilizers. Artificial or a chemical fertilizer. So in this way we can divide these manures into two types. What are they? Natural fertilizers, and the second one, artificial or chemical fertilizers. Is that clear? Yeah. Now we go to the next topic. So natural manure. Natural manure. What is meant by natural? Natural means these manures are prepared from naturally available substances. So which are available from nature? That means, say for example, take plants and animals. Whatever the products we get from plants and animals, like say this plant materials like leaves, fallen leaves, then some branches, stems, roots, flowers, fruits, like this. These are said to be plant materials. And then animal materials. What are animal materials means? We can say this urine or dung, like this. And even the dead parts of plants and also animals. These are all said to be natural substances. So when we prepare the manure from such substances, we call them as a natural manure. Natural manure, or which can be otherwise called as biofertilizers. Bio means biological, which means living organisms. Correct. So how we prepare them? We prepare them from plant and animal waste. Plant and animal waste in an open place. Generally when we observe villages, here in the villages, almost we can find most of the people are farmers. Most of them are farmers, and we can find some animals in a farmer's home. Correct? Like cattle. Cattle means like a sheep, goat, then cows, buffaloes, like this. Correct? And daily they get some amount of waste, that dung. Then what they do with that dung? They put all this dung in one place. Okay, that means as a waste. Then after a few days, what happens means all that dung gets converted into manure, and then that will be supplied to their fields. Got it? So what is that? That is said to be natural manure. And even generally we prepare this manure at our fields also. At our fields, how we prepare that means, say for example, in one corner of the field we can dig a pit like this. Right? And now what you have to do, in the base you can put some plant materials. Plant materials means let's say this plant leaves, then flowers. Flowers means no need to pluck them or no need to purchase. Just whatever the parts that are fallen down, we have to use them. Got it? So these are the plant materials, and then we can cover them with the soil. Okay, and then we can use animal material. Animal material means dung. Okay, animal material. Now again soil, then again plant materials, and again soil. In this way, this whole dig is to be covered with the plant materials and the animal materials, but they should be separated by soil layer. Got it? After that, what you have to do? You have to take some amount of water, and that water is to be sprinkled. You should not pour the water, but you have to sprinkle. Sprinkle means just chilkarinchadam, right? So little amount of water is to be added. Okay. Then we have to leave this. We have to leave this as it is for 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months. So after 2 to 3 months, what happens means all this plant and animal materials, what happens means they decompose. They get to decompose, and so that it becomes what? It becomes a good manure. It becomes a good manure. Correct. So in this way, naturally we can prepare this manure. But say to prepare this manure, this kind of manure, we need to wait for some time. That means 3 to 4 months. But nowadays the farmers became very busy, and that's why they could not able to prepare all this manure, and that's why what they do, that means simply they go to the shops and they purchase these artificial fertilizers. What? And here, what's the next one? See, azotobacter, and then nitrobacter. Correct? Say this, azotobacter and nitrobacter. What are these two means? These are the bacteria. These are the bacteria. This bacteria can decompose this plant and animal materials and convert them into manure. Naturally, these two we can also find there's a rhizobium. You know rhizobium? Generally, have you seen this groundnut? You see? Have you seen this picture? So what is this? This is a root system of a groundnut. So over the groundnut root system, we can find a small ball-like structures. We call them as a root nodules, and inside that root nodules, we can find a bacteria that is called the rhizobium. So this azotobacter, the next nitrobacter, and rhizobium. These bacteria have the capacity to convert this natural substances into manure. So when we add these natural manures to the soil, then what happens? They provide nutrients to the soil. Okay, so that the soil becomes fertile. Fertile means again it becomes rich in nutrients, so that the crop will grow well. Correct? So these are natural manure, or we can otherwise call them as biofertilizers. Correct? And then what's the next one? There is a artificial or a chemical fertilizers. What is meant by artificial? Artificial means man-made. Okay, as these fertilizers are made by the man, we call them as man-made. And then chemical. Chemical means we prepare them by using different types of chemicals. Okay, that's why we call them as a chemical fertilizers. Okay, or in other words, we can also call this as a synthetic. Synthetic means same, artificial. Correct. So here, where we produce them means we produce them in factories. That means in very big factories. Okay. Generally, you may heard about some words like a urea. Have you seen urea? Okay. Here you can find the pictures. Say urea. The next DAP. Not DAB, not our school, but DAP, the next super phosphate, then a potash, right? So these are the different types of chemical fertilizers that are available in the market, and they contain different quantities of this nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, so I told you already, in all these fertilizers, we can find only three components, only three nutrients. What are they? Yeah, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Correct. Okay, and these nutrients are present in different amounts in different types of fertilizers. Okay, we cannot say that all the fertilizers contain same quantities of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. In some we can find more nitrogen, and in some we can find less nitrogen, and in some nitrogen may be absent. Correct? Like this. Okay, so these are the different types or the different names of chemical fertilizers. Okay, and these are all our farmers are using nowadays. Good, actually. Yeah. Now go to the next one. Has in this bag. What is this bag? Yeah, this is DAP. It's a kind of a artificial fertilizer. So here, whenever you observe this picture, you can find three numbers. What are they? What is the first one? Yeah, that is that is 18, then 46, and then 0. What are these numbers? Means we call these numbers as a NPK ratio. NPK ratio, right? That means first number belongs to nitrogen. First number means that is a nitrogen, and the second number phosphorus, and the third number that is a potassium. Okay, so in that means in all the fertilizers we can find this kind of number, and what do you call the number? Yeah, that is called NPK ratio. That means here what is the amount of nitrogen? That is 18%, and the phosphorus 46%, and which is totally absent? Yeah, potassium is totally absent. Correct. In this way, different fertilizers are having different compositions of this NPK. So depending upon our soil type, and also depending upon the crop we are growing, we need to select the fertilizer. Got it? Yeah, this is very, very important. Okay, and what do you call this number? This is called NPK ratio. NPK ratio, right? Okay. Then now let's see which fertilizers are good or better. Means when we take this chemical fertilizers, they are made from what? Inorganic salts. Inorganic salts means completely made up of chemicals. Completely made up of chemicals. But what about natural fertilizers? These are made by decomposition of plants and animal materials. Plants and animal materials, that is naturally available substances. Okay, that's why. Can you find any pollution in case of natural fertilizers? No. Here there is also one difference we can say. Natural fertilizers, they never cause the pollution. Here pollution is pollution will be absent. But what about this chemical fertilizers? Here in a chemical fertilizers we can find a pollution. Why means we are using chemicals. We are using the chemicals, right? And what's the next one? These are prepared in factories. I told you these are produced in large amounts. Okay, that's why we produce them in factories or industries. And then these are prepared in open places. I told you just like in fields or in our homes. That means in outskirts or in open areas of our home, we can prepare them. Okay, then no humus can be found. Humus, what is meant by humus? Means decomposed organic matter. Decomposed organic matter is called humus. So this humus is absent in a chemical fertilizers, but in case of natural fertilizers, humus is present. Humus is present, okay, which is dark black in color, right? And in case of chemical fertilizers, there's a nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Their number or their amount is more. Their amount is more. Okay, just now you observed that bag. Here you can find 1846 and 0. Okay, that means their amount is more. But in case of a natural fertilizer, there's a nitrogen, phosphorus and a potassium amount will be less. Correct? And that means, these are when we observe the cost, whatever the cost, these are cheaply available. They are cheaply available. But what about these chemical fertilizers? They are costly. Correct? So in this way, we can find many differences between this chemical and natural fertilizers, and this is very, very important for your long answer questions. Okay, write the differences between chemical fertilizers and natural fertilizers for a long answer question. Got it? Okay. Now let's go to the next topic. What would happen if overdosage of manure is added to soil? Overdosage. Here, what is meant by dosage? So for example, you and your sister, your younger sister, both are suffering from cough. Okay, and then your father took both of you to the doctor. Then the doctor will prescribe say one syrup, one cough syrup, and the doctor will recommend you, your sister how to take a half cup of syrup. Half cup of syrup. Cup means, over the bottle we can find a cap. Okay, half cap of that syrup. And what about you? Okay, the doctor told you to take a full cap of syrup. Okay, here you're all suffering. You both are suffering from the cold, and the medicine is also same, but the amount is different. What do you call this amount? This is called a dose. This is called a dose. Correct? So when you take a full cup of syrup, then only it can control your cough. But if you take only half or 1/4 of a cap, then what means? Then it takes. Will you get a good result? No. Okay, that's why here dose is very, very important. In the same way, when we come to this crop also, So for a cropping also, we can find a correct dosage of manure. Say for example, there is 1 acre of land. For 1 acre of land, say 100 kgs of manure is needed. Think that is a dose. Okay. So when we use 100 kgs of manure, then only we get good results. But when you use 50 kgs of manure or 200 kgs of manure, then the result will not be good. Okay, here what is the question means, what happens if we use overdosage? Overdosage means more amount of manure. Okay, generally we use fertilizers regarding the nature of soil and also type of crop we grow. Okay, nature of soil means when we observe different types of agriculture fields, they belong to different types. Some are a clay soil and some are a loam soils and some are a sandy type, like this. Okay, so can you say that all the type of soils will be same? No, different. Okay, that's why depending upon the type of the soil, we have to add different amounts of fertilizer. And also, what's the next one? Type of crop. Which crop we are growing? So for example, one farmer is growing rice and one farmer groundnut. Then can you say that these two farmers must use same amount of fertilizer? No, they have to use different types. Okay, in this way, the amount of fertilizer depends on what? Depends on these two factors, nature of soil and type of a crop. And to get more production, they like to use more amounts of fertilizer. This is a common factor. Generally the farmers think that fertilizers are very very good in nature. So if we supply more amount of fertilizer, then we get good results like this. But it is not good. Whenever we are using more and more fertilizers than needy, then what happens? Actually they are made up of chemicals. So what happens? These chemicals, they enter the soil and cause the soil pollution. And from soil, they may enter this water and so causes water pollution. Okay, that's why we should not use these chemicals in excess quantities. Okay, and given this soil, because of this chemicals, over addition of chemicals, the soil will become either acidic or alkaline. Alkaline means what? Basic. Okay, so that the soil becomes useless. And finally what happens? There will be total loss to the farmer. Okay, that means if we go for a greedy nature, we get nothing. Okay, that's why always we have to use the correct dosage of manure, not more than that or not less than that. Got it? Yeah. What's the next one? That is irrigation. What is irrigation actually? Irrigation means the process of watering the cropland. The process of supplying water to the field can be called as irrigation. Have you seen? This process is very very important. Depending upon this irrigation, we need to select which type of crop we have to grow like this. Got it? And given, you can find that the value of the fields are different from place to place. Which fields are having a more demand? Yeah, the fields which are having a good water supply, they get good demand. They become very very costly. But whenever there is no water supply, there is no water source in a field, then in that field what happens? Can you find any demand? No, they are easily available. That means they are cheaply available, such fields. Correct. So here the source of water should be at a higher level. Whenever you want to start agriculture, you want to grow some crops, this water should be present at a high level. High level means there should be more amount of water. Then only we have to go for the agriculture. Okay, and each and every part of the field gets water. When we have a more amount of water, then only we can supply uniform amount of water to each and every part of the field. Okay, and generally from where we get the water, that means what is the main source? Means wells, bawulu, and then canals. Canals means even while you're coming to Pradhutur, okay, here on roadside we can find some canals. Have you seen what are those canals? Agriculture canals, okay. And the paints from Miloram we get water, and we are using that water for what? For the agriculture, okay, like that. And then farmers irrigate the fields either manually. How they supply the water means some people they supply the water manually. Manually means without using any machines. That means with the help of bullocks like this. Have you seen some people they use a very big bucket, and then they drop that buckets into the well, and then to withdraw the bucket from the well, what they use? They use bullocks. They use bullocks, okay. So that is called a manual method. And some people, what they do? They use the pumps, motor pumps, okay. So by using either electricity or by using this diesel, they run. So with the help of this pumps also we can supply water, okay. And here when we take this irrigation, we can find 3 types of irrigation methods. Okay, now let's see what are those methods means. The first one, see, this a furrow irrigation, okay. Have you seen this picture? Yeah, here if you carefully observe this picture, in this picture we can find that inside the field we can find the furrows. Furrows means when we plough the field, then we get what? We get a V-shaped furrows, V-shaped canals. Have you seen? They are called furrows. Now these furrows are connected to this irrigation, okay. See here, yeah, this is a canal, this is a canal, and here we can find furrows. These are furrows like this, okay. So from here what they do? They supply the water to this first, okay. And once this is completely filled, then what they do? They close here, and then they open this, okay, so that the water will come and into this, okay. Then after filling this furrow, what they do? They close this furrow and again they open this furrow, okay. So now the water will move into this furrow. Clear? So what do you call this one? Means this is called as a furrow irrigation, correct? And generally for which crops we use this method? Means for different types of vegetables and also for the fruit crops we use this furrow irrigation here. So furrow irrigation means here this is a furrow, okay, and inside this furrow water is flowing, and where you can find the plants can be seen like this, okay. Can you say that water is in a contact with the plant? No, plant is somewhere and the water is somewhere, okay. There is no contact between water and plant, correct. So what do you call that? That irrigation can be called as a furrow irrigation. And what's the next one? Basin irrigation. Here in this method the field will be plain, and now we supply the water throughout the field. That means it appears like just like a pond. Have you seen any paddy or a wheat field? So how they supply the water? They make some opening, and through that opening they supply the water, okay. Now the entire field is leveled, so that what means the water can be supplied to each and every part, okay. Now the field is completely filled with the water, okay. So what do you call that kind of irrigation? Means that is called as a basin irrigation, correct, okay. And here in this system preparing canal bunds means that means to supply the water we have to open in one area, and through that area we have to supply the water, and after that again we have to close that in this way. So this bunds అంటే గట్లు, ఆ గట్లను రిమూవ్ చేయడము మళ్ళీ యాడ్ చేయడము అనేది కొద్దిగా వర్క్ అన్నమాట ఇక్కడ. అండ్ దెన్ రిమూవింగ్ బ్యారియర్స్ మీన్స్ this plants, some unwanted plants like a pistia, and water we are using more water, okay. That's why so these plants also develop in that field, okay. That's why from time to time we have to remove these plants, okay. And then sometimes the field gets excess water, so whenever we are getting heavy rains, then what means then field will get more and more water. Okay, at the time what you have to do, say for example, think that this is all the field, okay, and we are getting excess amount of water. Then at the time what you have to do, we have to make some opening like this, okay, so that what happens through this opening, see this excess water will go out. Have you seen the movie that's Nuva Sarantan Neno Dantana? In that movie you can find we can find a competition between a hero and a heroine's brother. Okay, one day the hero, he comes out at night time and he's making this kind of openings. Okay, then heroine's brother comes and he asks him what are you doing. Then he told that see, now the climate is changed and it may rain, and that's why I'm making this bends. Okay, then he told that hey, nothing, what is this season, and we cannot get any rains, and you go on to sleep. Okay, then suddenly what happens? Suddenly, see, it rains heavily. Got it? So here, what is the use of this? Means through this we can remove the excess amount of water to outside. Got it? Okay, but whenever the field is supplied with more water than what happens, means the roots cannot breathe, and that's why the plant will die. Okay, that's why. So this excess water should be removed from time to time. Okay, but with experience, the farmers will learn. They come to know how much amount of water is to be supplied to the field, and how many times we have to supply the water, and when to supply the water. When to means whether in the morning or afternoon or evening or at night. Okay, and that to me how many times, whether 2 times or 3 times. Okay, they come to know all these things by their experience, or simply by taking the advices from experienced farmers. They can supply correct amount of water and they get correct results. Okay, and this is second type, and of course there is one more method, and we can learn that in the next session. Okay, with this we come to the end of this session, and thank you.